Hello, so my name's Mark, I'm one of the rehab therapists from Flint House, and this is another video to instruct you on how to load up a rucksack to become an odd object for you to use for various exercises. So what I'm going to do first is show you the way that we can use different bits of kit to load up the backpack, and then we'll run through some exercises with that backpack. So let's get started. Perfect, so any backpack will do. This backpack gives you a bit of an idea of who I am, but it will work with any sort of backpack, or any bag per se. Backpacks, you've got a bit more opportunity to use straps, use other parts of the bag, as opposed to just a carrier bag or something like that. We've got a selection of items on the table, so anything from a bottle filled with something. So here we've got some fabric softener, as well as some tonic water. If you're not up to date on your metric side of things, these tonic water bottles are a litre. A litre's worth of liquid weighs exactly 1 kilogram, so it really helps us out when we're going to judging the weights. Another thing you can do once you've loaded your backpack is look at putting it on a pair of scales. That way you've got an objective marker on how much you can progress these exercises as you go through. So loading up with books, again I'm really privileged, I've got some really boring anatomy textbooks from uni days, so that's the first thing I'm going to load into my bag. I'm also going to use my physiology one, as that's nice and big and heavy. So we've got some added hand weights as well, so if you've got a stack of varying size hand weights, you can't pick them all up at once. Quite nice to be able to load some of them in, as well as potentially some cans as well. So loading in a couple of those 2K ones. Also, again, cans all have their weights on them, so that'll give you a good idea of what sort of weight you need to use. Just make sure it's nice and secure when you do it up, and then away you go with your backpack. So backpacks we can use in loads of different ways. Non-traditional way, you can hold it at the front, either just giving it a nice big hug. You can also use the straps and put that on at the front. A little less, if you've got that heavier weight, then it's a little less work on your arms to have it around your shoulders as well. Or traditionally, like a normal backpack, on your back. If you are going to have it on your back, I do suggest that you get those straps as tight as you can on both sides, to make sure that it's nice and solid and stable. From there we can do loads of different exercises. So with it on our back, things like squats, really good way to load up those squats. Backward lunges as well would work quite nicely in this position. Can do sort of hip hinges, what we call good mornings, which load up the posterior chain, glutes and hamstrings. Again, some really nice ideas from our lower limb class as well. So hip hinges, having the load in and around your hips, as that's what we're trying to load up. Driving up and through, really good way to get your glutes and your hamstrings. Again, adding some weight gets working quite hard. So having it at the front, got things like front squats, having it loaded in a slightly different way. You can also do those backward lunges with them as well, alternating legs. Things like bent over rows are quite nice, so grabbing the side, bending over, putting the weight in. Adding to some load to things like bicep curls, really good way with that backpack. Again, it doesn't have to be anything clever. We can also do things like forward raises, and also potentially looking at lateral raises, although this bag's probably a bit heavy with those anatomy books in it. Again, raising up to the side would be a good way to add some increased load. Things like overhead pressing, again we can use this with books, not that unstable, so you potentially could look at one arm as well if you're looking at just working an injured arm at a time when you're pressing out. And then anything you can do with dumbbells as well, even things like fork press with one arm. The bag's obviously slightly heavier, you might need to use both arms as you're pressing up and down as well with that. You might want to get your bag on a scale, setting up how that weight is, how much it weighs, will give you some good ideas about how to progress by adding bottles at a time as you go through. Bottles, obviously you know, books, a bit different with regards to the weight side of things. So load up a backpack and away you go. This would be perfect to use for something like our lower limb class, which I'll link to in the description below, as well as in the top corner. Let us know in the comments as well what sort of items you've used. Always good to get some different ideas. So leave us a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe. Apart from that, I'll see you again in the next video.